You guys, even though I think it's pretty safe to say that a majority of you didn't see this coming, and on the other hand, while a lot of you probably have a couple of things to say regarding this, yes, it is a factual statement that the New York Football Giants, speaking from a record perspective, are one of the top 5 teams in the NFL at this point in time. And believe me, because I also know that some of you watching this video that are probably not New York Giants fans could sit back and go on for hours about how half of the league is better than this team right now, which I did also want to mention is somehow still taking up the majority of headlines that I'm seeing regarding this team, but nonetheless, in my personal opinion at least, there seems to be some crucial factors regarding the New York Giants that seem to be getting completely overshadowed in the face of the media that one, very few people probably expected to see at least this early, and two, this early success that we are seeing in New York might just not be as big of a fluke as you originally thought. One sec though guys, if you haven't yet, don't forget to like the video if you do enjoy, subscribe, and turn on those notifications to never miss another NFL video. Love you guys. Because as we've done so far this year, we're going to continue to come out with brand new NFL content every single week as the season goes on, so trust me, you guys do not want to miss out. But anyway, to get back on topic with the New York Giants, because regardless of where you currently stand with this team, whether you're more impressed with them on the offensive side of the ball, the defensive side of the ball, or even if you're someone who thinks the Giants are the biggest frauds in the league, the play that's been seen out of Giants starting quarterback Daniel Jones to start this 2022 season thus far has been one of the most outstanding aspects regarding this team. And I know before any of you try to pull up Daniel Jones game-by-game stats this year and roast me for the statement I just made, I will do you and myself the courtesy of pulling them up right now. Because, I mean, I would definitely understand for a stat head that would use these numbers as a sole reference as to how Daniel Jones has been doing this year, you'd likely almost immediately jump to a conclusion that either Saquon's carrying this offense more than we've ever seen, the defense is on another level, or they're straight up hitting the lottery with every win they get. But despite the numbers, he's done almost everything the Giants have asked him in terms of leading this team to where they are right now. And to even go a step further, he's playing at a level that we have never seen from him in his career yet. And for example of this, definitely one of the biggest flaws in Daniel Jones' career so far has been his inability to make the right read at times, thus leading into his frequency of turnovers. And of course, while it is only a small sample size right now and time will only tell, Danny Dimes has already been able to cut his turnovers per game by more than half this season than what's been seen in his entire career prior. And obviously, while this alone isn't going to be enough to tell you that he is the guy for the future of the Giants, easily I think what Giants fans have wanted to see out of Daniel Jones really ever since he was drafted into the franchise a couple years back has been for him to consistently show that he can at least be the guy that can put the team in a winning situation. And I mean, sure, while having a healthy Saquon back this season has been a blessing for this offense, how it operates and what the defense has to worry about, Danny Dimes hasn't just been putting this team in the situation, but he has been executing in the situation. And of course, I know some of you are going to take this with a grain of salt with who these victories have actually come against, but there's currently not a single quarterback in the entire NFL that has more game-winning drives this season than, you guessed it, Daniel Jones. And also, it's one thing in itself for Danny Dimes to be leading this unlikely team to the success that they've seen so far, but it's even more impressive when you take into consideration the injuries that Daniel Jones has had to deal with, not just in himself, but some of the key weapons in his offense as well. Because in New York's win over the Green Bay Packers, which not only was definitely their best win of the season, but was also convincingly Daniel Jones' best performance yet, he led this team to 17 unanswered second half points against one of the top tier defenses in the entire NFL, all while missing 4 of their top 5 wide receivers. I mean, I think it's obvious that no matter what the Giants do on the field this season, and no matter how much success they see, they're just going to continue to be doubted as the year progresses. But with the adversity they've already overcome, and the promise that the offense continues to show almost every single week, there just seems to be little to no reason to believe that this team isn't at least moving in the right direction, and almost all of that can be tied into their new head coach hiring in Brian Daboll. And I know while he absolutely should have been mentioned at some point earlier in the video, it doesn't discredit the difference that he's making within this team. Because to somewhat stay on topic with Daniel Jones and this offense, through the two prior head coaches he had to deal with in Pat Shurmur and Joe Judge, let's just say through the experiences seen that it wasn't necessarily the perfect fit and wasn't really putting Daniel Jones in the best situation to succeed. But now, even though again it's been a small sample size, with Brian Daboll at the helm, an offensive-minded coach, this side of the ball looks completely rejuvenated with the majority of the same pieces they had the year prior. And while props absolutely need to be given to the majority of guys in the wide receiver room, and guys like Marcus Johnson, David Sills, Richie James, Kadarius Toney, Wan'Dale Robinson, you could go on and on with how many we've seen already, and with Daboll actually knowing how to deal with what's in front of him, they've essentially succeeded by just laying back. And you're probably wondering what I mean by this. Well, out of any quarterback and team in the entire NFL, the Giants average the least air yards per attempt this season. And also to kind of tie into that, they have the second lowest passing yards per game, just in front of the Chicago Bears. So again, even though numbers wise, it doesn't necessarily look like this team is the most competent in the passing game, they are doing a lot more than you probably think, especially with the situation that they've been thrown into. And then, of course, there's also the rushing aspect of this offense that I don't think many of you need to be convinced is one of the most dominant in the league and is only also continuing to get better as the weeks go on, because aside from the numbers showing it, the Giants have this guy back and he looks better than he ever has in his career. And even aside from just the running aspect of Saquon, the ability for Daboll to get him more involved in the passing game so far this season by splitting him out wide more than I expected, getting him more targets than we've seen prior, and even doing some crazy things like the Wildcat formation, which is beautiful with a guy like Saquon, I'm just guessing at least, has some Giants fans more excited to watch this team than they have been in a very, very long time. And then there's also the defense, which I think it's kind of hard to make a stance on them right now, considering they are very battered and bruised just as their offense is, and despite their 4-1 record, have definitely shown some ups and downs. But with them coming off of a shutout second half against the back-to-back reigning MVP to solidify a 17-point comeback, I'll just leave it at this, that we have absolutely seen what they can be capable of as the weeks go on. Nonetheless though, you guys, with everything that I've mentioned regarding the New York Giants so far, I know there's probably going to be a fair amount of mixed reactions regarding them, but still, I am extremely curious to hear what you all have to think about their situation. So please let me know in the comments, out of everything we've seen regarding them so far, what has been the most surprising aspect to you regarding the New York Giants? And also, while there is still a lot of football left to be played this year, have you been any more convinced that Daniel Jones could be the guy of the future for this franchise? But again, you guys, if you haven't yet, don't forget to go down below and leave a like on the video if you did enjoy, and of course, subscribe while you're down there. As I mentioned, brand new NFL content is just going to continue to come out as we move along in this 2022 NFL season, so as I said before, you don't want to miss it. But also, I just wanted to say thank you so much to each and every one of you out there for watching. I appreciate all of you more than anything, you all know this, and I will see you guys in the next video.